I learned early in my time as a business owner that not everyone is your customer, which I know isn't great to hear if you're at the point in your business where you're just trying to get people through the door and you're not being super selective about who they are. You just need people to buy from you. But every business owner eventually comes to the realization that not everyone is your customer, nor should they be. Now, August is Sales and Marketing Month inside the HerBusiness Network, which you can apply to join if you want to gain access to incredible women business owners who are doing great things. So in honor of our Sales and Marketing Month, today I wanted to talk to you about the most important part of sales and marketing. That's your clients and customers, the people that you do this for, the people who can fund your dream life, the people who love your brand and want to spend money for the things that you are creating and putting into this world. They are the heart of everything you do as a business owner. That's why when you get your customer messaging wrong, or you market to the wrong people, or you miss the mark on a promotional campaign, sales can really plummet. Deeply knowing and understanding your ideal customer is key to knowing how to market your products and services. So today we'll be talking about the 3 steps that you can take to get clear on your ideal customer, and even more importantly, how you can foster a genuine connection with them that will lead to conversions. Hey there, I'm Susie Daphnis. I'm the CEO at HerBusiness and I'm the host of this show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Now, I had to come to grips with who my ideal customer was very early on, when I was still figuring out the pieces of what this beautiful community could be. And for years, I'd spent my time working with all sorts of women who identified as business women, including corporate women and those who didn't yet have their own business. Now, many of them had a vague idea of something they one day hoped to turn into a business, but they weren't actually giving up their 9-to-5s anytime soon or putting effort into their side hustles in order to make them full-time businesses. And while I am still and was proud of their achievements, I knew I felt called to work with women who were really wanting to go all out with being a business owner. Women who were ready to put it all on the line for what they wanted. So I knew that HerBusiness needed to focus more narrowly on those women, the ones that I knew that we could help most and the ones that we loved to serve. So we had to start choosing our clients rather than accepting a broad range of women into our community. Because for the longest time, we had accepted and catered to, as best we could, all business women. Not just the actual business owners, our ideal clients, but all women interested in or somewhat involved with business. Now, the problem with this approach is that we were trying to be right for everyone. And as a result, we weren't really serving any of these groups as well as we could have because our focus was spread so thin. And as I thought more deeply about my vision for HerBusiness, I realized that the women who wanted to grow their business, they were the ones I really wanted to work with. They were in the sweet spot in terms of being the audience I could help with my own expertise. I dug even deeper into this sweet spot and started to dive into my ideal client. And I actually went through the exact 3-step process that I'll be sharing with you today in this podcast. Now, during that process, I was able to get specific about who I really wanted to work with, who I wanted to spend my time on, speak to every day, do in-depth workshops with, and eventually even go on retreats with. So big shout out to all the lovely women inside the network who are coming to Port Douglas with me this November for the HerBusiness Growth Retreat. Now, I realized that I wanted to work with women who had been in business for a while and now felt stuck on their way to growing a sustainable 6- and 7-figure business. These are the women who need support. They want growth and they need help to develop the systems and processes that will make their businesses ideal for them. Now, I wanted to specifically work with solopreneurs and micropreneurs who had worked, many of them on their own for so long and hadn't hired a team, completed a budget, or thought about their business from a business owner perspective. And those that were building small teams, the micropreneurs I just mentioned. So building from these realizations, I started developing a new and updated ideal client avatar. I defined everything. Who is she? How old is she? What are her aspirations? Where does she hang out? What keeps her awake at night worrying? What does her business look like right now? And what does she want it to look like? And by asking these questions, I gained clarity on who my ideal client is. And armed with this knowledge, I was finally able to do something that I felt I'd never been able to do in my business before. I could actually say no to people when I saw that they were not my ideal client. Everything we've developed since, from our Reach Retreat in Hawaii through to our high-level mastermind program, they grew from understanding who our ideal client is. So as you listen to this episode, start thinking it through for yourself. Who is your ideal client? Who do you love working with? Who can you see yourself truly lending your expertise to? And remember, not everyone is your customer, and that's okay. Now, it's going to feel a little counterintuitive at first, turning people away, even just for this exercise, because it seems logical that we should try to target everybody with our businesses. The idea is that by casting a wide enough net, you catch a ton of clients. It makes sense, but it simply doesn't work in the context of creating your ideal business. So take a moment, pause the podcast if you'd like, and think about your ideal client. It's a great idea to have someone very specific in mind. Maybe someone that you're currently working with and really enjoying, or someone you've worked with in the past. Now, this is someone who loves what you do, and as importantly, it's someone that you love working with. Now, every hour you spend with this client is a pleasure because you know you're having the impact you want to have on them. Imagine having more of that type of client coming into your business every single day. How good would that feel? Now think about what happens when you don't choose what your ideal clients look like. You cast the big net and try and catch everyone and anyone. And what you end up with is a bunch of clients that aren't the right fit for your business. They don't have the problems that you can specifically solve. They cause you stress and headache because there's always more for you to do for them. These clients drain your energy and they make you miserable, and honestly, they're often a hassle with requests for refunds and demands outside the scope of your agreements and your terms of service. Non-ideal clients are a headache that you do not want to tie your business model to, because as soon as you start feeling like you dislike your clientele, sitting down at your desk is going to feel harder and harder. And then you're back in a situation that you likely left probably a long time ago, a 9-to-5 that keeps you stuck and miserable. Expect it's even worse this time around because you built the cage yourself, right? You created your own rat race. When you try to work with everyone, you end up with many of these non-ideal types of clients. For every ideal person you find, there may be several non-ideal people who leave you stressed and resenting your business. Not everyone is your customer. I'm going to repeat this a few times. Not everyone is your customer, and that is okay. When you realize this, you take the first step towards defining who your ideal client actually is. You put yourself in a position to choose who you want to work with rather than casting the big net and hoping you catch what you want. Now, this is something that I've learned through experience, both within my own business and through my interactions with other business owners. And I've been fortunate enough to travel extensively around Australia and North America, meeting hundreds of business owners, and marketing leaders along the way. And what I found is that all these people who are being really successful in their businesses, they have one thing in common. They obsess about choosing who they work with. They define their ideal client long before they focus on designing a product or a service. By knowing who they want to work with, they can create businesses based on facts rather than assumptions. And that means they no longer waste money trying to appeal to people who were never ideal in the first place. Perhaps I can demonstrate this by introducing you to a wonderful HerBusiness member named Karina Pelliconi. She's the owner of Plum Petal. You'll find her at plumpetal.com.au. And Karina sells unique pieces of statement jewelry to help curvy women find accessories that complement their styles. And her goal is to help these women feel confident and beautiful whenever they wear one of her pieces. Now, I've seen Karina grow enormously, both professionally and personally, since becoming part of the HerBusiness community. She's overcome the struggles that she had in the past in terms of working with her ideal clients and now has a business that offers her more opportunities than she ever had before. She's built a wholesale side of the business. She's got hundreds of items in her online store. She has clients that come back to her time and time again. When talking about what her business was like in the past, Karina talks about how she had never looked at the people she worked with as ideal clients. She simply looked at her client based on a cohort of women, and she tried to produce jewelry to suit everyone. In doing so, she spread herself too thin, allowing her business to be lost in a sea of jewelry retailers. And because she hadn't previously examined her market, she didn't realize that the majority of her customers were curvy women who were aged 35 and over. She couldn't see her ideal client at first. Now, this affected the decision she made in terms of the pieces she offered to her customers. However, it affected other areas of Plum Petal as well, including her website. Now, looking back, Karina is quick to point out that her website had no relevant copy whatsoever for her ideal client initially. Instead, it was about displaying the pieces without any focus on who they were for or why she had created them in the first place. And as a result, her old website, it didn't speak to the customers who were trying to reveal themselves as her ideal. She spoke broadly, like a lot of us do, cast the net wide, like a lot of us do, and was attracting lurkers who were never going to buy from her. Now, this is a situation that many business owners find themselves in, especially when they have designed their products or services before identifying their ideal clients. And for Karina, not knowing who her ideal client was meant that she missed out on opportunities to really connect with the women who really needed and could benefit from her jewelry. So things began to change as she started to work on her business, as she surrounded herself with support, after she joined the HerBusiness Network, and we started to have these conversations about her ideal client. And as she learned more about my story and how finding my ideal client helped me to transform my business, she started to look at her own company. And Karina took time to examine her market and realized that her ideal client had been staring her in the face the whole time. By speaking directly to the beautiful, curvy women who were already in love with her jewelry, she could finally have specific messaging that appealed to the types of clients that she wanted to work with. From this realization, Karina put an enormous amount of work into learning more about her ideal client. She identified who she was talking to, and her understanding of her clients means that they're always at the top of her mind when she's sourcing and designing her jewelry. She's conducted interviews, she's created an ideal client avatar profile, and now every decision she makes is based on what her ideal client's needs are and how she can best speak to them. Understanding her ideal client has also helped her to develop lead magnets and offers that speak to her specific audience. She has revamped her website using language and imagery that appeals to the people that she wants to work with, and she's created new opportunities inside her business. Karina has partnered a number of times with fellow HerBusiness member Fiona Keary of Style Liberation. Now, these women discovered that their ideal clients, they look pretty similar, and that created an opportunity for them to create a strategic alliance that benefits both of their businesses as well as the people they work with. By finding your ideal client, you create opportunities. It makes it so much easier to find strategic alliances, people who also have your ideal client. You find that you're finally able to work with the people who connect with your vision and align with your purpose. And you'll find yourself feeling far more fulfilled while running your business. When you work with the people you love, you work with the people you were born to serve. These are the people who light you up. They give you the momentum you need to build your ideal business. It's when working with your ideal client that you get the most satisfaction and you make the biggest possible impact. And it also happens to be when you will likely see your biggest returns for the effort that you put into your business. So when we come to the question, how can you get clarity on your ideal client? Here are the 3 focus areas to look at right now to help define your ideal client. The first area is money. Now, for a long time, we try to offer our premium courses and our mentoring to women who are just starting in business. Now, these potential clients didn't have viable businesses yet, which usually meant accepting our premium offers. It felt like too big a leap for them. Now, this experience helped me to realize that knowing your client's money situation is crucial when you're defining your ideal client. Does the client have the budget for your product or services? Can they afford you? If they can't, then this is a sign that you're targeting the wrong types of clients. Asking these questions about money leads to other questions like, do you have clients who try to haggle on price? Are you constantly chasing payments? Are your clients in debt? Are they wealthy? Are they somewhere in between? Each of these segments is a market and someone is serving that market, and it's possibly a viable market, but you need to choose who is right for you. Now, if you're not matching your client money situation with your offers, then you could be targeting clients who don't align with your vision. What you charge and the product and services that you offer may vary and will vary depending on who you serve. If you work with startups, you might expect your clients to have lower budgets than if you work with established business owners. If you help executive assistants, then their money situation will be different than that of a high-flying executive. If you work with young families, their money situation is going to be different to a retiree. It sounds really obvious when we say it, but we want to think about what is the money situation of my ideal client. The point is that you must ask the question to know the financial position of your ideal client before you go offering them anything, right? Because you want them to be a right fit. So money is area number one. Area number two is lifestyle. Because money is only a small part of the puzzle, we also want to discover whether our clients live the type of lifestyle that aligns with your business and your services and products. You want to know where and how they live so that you can understand who to send your messages to. So, for example, let's say you own a beauty salon. This means you likely work one-on-one with clients who have to travel to use your services. In this case, you likely want to target those who live in a similar location as your clinic, your salon, whatever it is, right? If you have a physical location. Or it needs to make sense that they're going to drive the distance to get there. You know, I go to a salon to get my eyebrows done, as an aside, and it takes me 30 minutes. Now, if she moved another 15 minutes away, I probably wouldn't go, right? So you want to make sure that you're thinking about the lifestyle. Do they drive? Is it easy to get to where you are? Now, that's for an offline business. For an online business, just say you have a coaching business, now you can appeal to a larger audience because you conduct business perhaps over webinars, and location may not be an issue for you. But other lifestyle factors might count, like how old is your ideal client? Do they have children? Do they have a job, or do they own their own business? What social or cultural groups do they belong to? Now, all of these questions are going to provide you with insight into the people that you want to work with. Again, you want to think about how these answers align with your vision and who you want to serve. That's area number two. Area number three is mindset. And this is a big one because you need to know that your clients are mentally and emotionally ready to achieve whatever it is that you help them to achieve, whatever problem that you solve. And in my case, I love working with women business owners who want to find a business coach and mentor that they can trust. I look for those who are willing to embrace new ways of doing things, who want to become more competent as business owners, who know that the results they'll achieve, they're on par with the effort that they put in. We also help women take offline businesses online and use technology in innovative ways to market their business. So my ideal clients are willing to try new things. And when I see these traits in someone, I know they're a person I can work with. Why? I provide what they need, and they have the mindset needed to see the true value in what I offer. So you want to ask yourself, what do you notice about your ideal client's mindset, their attitude, their beliefs? And don't stop there. You want to pay attention to what you see in your non-ideal clients too. And you'll likely notice that those that you love working with are those that you also happen to get the best results for. And remember, as you go through these three areas, money, lifestyle, mindset, you want to think about that this is not a one and done activity. If you find that you're going down a path with a certain type of client that you're not loving, there's always time to reassess and redirect your marketing efforts. This is a process. So sometimes, we take whoever we can get, but ideally we're designing an ideal business, and that means really designing who we work with. And once you've gotten pretty clear on who your ideal client is, you get to switch your focus to how you can best help the people you've identified, which is where the magic truly happens, because being clear on who you're serving also helps you communicate with them a whole lot easier. And we saw this in Karina's story. When she took a moment to reflect on her market, she saw exactly who she needed to talk to when it came to her marketing. Now, this allowed her to adjust her website copy, her imagery, her offers, business, plus it became the foundation of her marketing campaigns. So her business would appeal specifically to her ideal client. In order to get connection with your ideal client, you do have to know how to communicate with them. And you can't communicate until you know who you're talking to. So it's time to throw your fishing net away and figure out who that individual is and who you can help with your products or services. Because if you start marketing to her or him or whatever the situation is, that family, that teenager, they will come. But you need to be really clear about who that is. And even if you're selling business to business, you're still selling to a person. Someone is going to sign off on the dotted line. So you want to be clear who that person is. Now, if you've been listening to this episode and you've thought to yourself, hold on, I sound exactly like the kind of client that her business serves, but you're not yet in the network, come on over. We have a thriving community of hundreds of business owners who are on journeys to grow their businesses, to reach new levels of success, and to do it in the wonderful company of empowered and inspired women. And we have literally thousands of resources, masterclasses, downloadables for you to check out, all sorts of resources to help you grow your business. So we even have what we call growth groups. These are accountability and advisory groups that are tailored specifically to support your business. We have networking events, we have book clubs, and as I hinted earlier, we have a retreat coming up in the gorgeous Port Douglas this November. Now you can join the network right now. The details are in the show notes, which I'll give you the details to in just a moment. They are our 3 areas that we want to focus on because, as I said at the top of the show, not everyone is your customer, and that is okay. So head on over to herbusiness.com/267 to get the links to all the things that I reference here today. I'm going to include a link to plumpetal.com.au where you can find Karina's beautiful jewelry. Plus, I'll link to the Her Business Network and give you details, because if you're not part of our network, you definitely want to make that the next thing you do if you really want to grow your business. We're helping women identify their ideal clients and then learn how to market to them every single day. So join us in the next episode of the show. I want to thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, do me a favor and head on over to Apple Podcasts or Spotify and leave us a rating or review. And share this episode with a friend. If you know someone who's struggling a little bit to get her ideal clients, then please share the show. And if you have an idea or a question for an upcoming episode, you can email me direct at podcast@herbusiness.com. I answer every email and I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you next time right here on the Her Business Podcast. Bye for now.